And good morning, everyone, to the Heart-Based Business Show with Dr. Shirlene Reeves. I am so excited that you are here with us today because we have quite a full program. And I want to thank you for viewing the show. This is all about business and what's going on in the world. And that's what I want to address this morning. I've made it my mission to listen to the many governors that are out there, to listen to all the leaders of the other countries, and to really weigh the statistics on what's going on. And I'm not even a statistic person, but I have found that if I look at the big picture, I can give you a visual of what's really going on based on finding out what's going on in one country and then verifying it from all the other countries. And I want to start by talking to you about China, because that is probably the scariest situation, because many of you have probably heard that they're not reporting the right numbers. And in fact, they actually recently doubled their fatalities. But here's the thing. Some of the citizens in Beijing and the different areas in China are releasing information against government approval. And we're finding out that they are once again getting locked down in all of these different cities. So it's not done in China. And the people that they released on Easter Sunday fled Wuhan and went to all different places in China, which is now probably the result of why they have it all over China. And the biggest challenge is that you can have this thing for up to 7 days without even any symptoms, nothing. So this leads me to what's happening now with our government and the fact that they're trying to open up the states. I was listening to Sanjay Gupta this morning, and he said, based on the numbers and evidence, we should not be opening the states. 23 to 24% of the tests are coming back positive. So when you go out, remember you are opening yourself up to being exposed and the journey of the unknown. We have no idea the repercussions of this virus. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just giving you the facts. And do you know, yesterday I saw a video, I sent it to some of my friends. 2 doctors in China were treated and came through the virus, and all their skin turned black. They showed what they looked like before and what they look like after. And they have no idea why. They don't know if it's the liver disease or the meds that they gave them. They can't figure out. But all of their skin turned black, and they showed pictures of the before and after. And I would question this if it wasn't 2 doctors that were treating patients for COVID-19 and now have been through it and are on the other side. The other thing is people are getting reinfected. And I don't know if you've been watching Chris Cuomo, which is New York State's governor's brother, but he's come through it and he gave ideas for how to deal with it. And he said, you can't just lay down and let it take over. You have to keep moving and getting up, moving around and using your body, because the virus wants you to lay down so that it can take over. And if you watch all these different people, you find out that the virus has sort of a personality that keeps morphing into something different. And they cannot figure out why there's so many more deaths in the US when we have such a high-level health system than there is anywhere else. And it's not just the population, because India has a tremendous population and they only have 600. Can you believe that? And it started in India right after China. Now, Spain's prime minister spoke up and he said, this pandemic is Europe's biggest crisis since World War II. Can you imagine? Huge. This is huge. And so when people say, I think this isn't real. I don't know where they're coming from, because all the countries around the world are having the same issues. And if it was a hoax, that couldn't possibly happen, right? You couldn't have a hoax and get every country in the world involved. No way. And not only that, all of their economies are dripping blood. There is just nothing left, and they're putting out billions and billions and billions of dollars just to keep people afloat because they have no work. They were talking about the fashion industry this morning, and they don't think the fashion industry is going to come back for another 2 years. That puts a tremendous amount of people out of work. So I want you to keep in mind, if you get anything out of what I'm telling you, please keep in mind that the reopening of our country and the individual states, yes, is left to the governors, but more so, so much more so to you, because this is not a situation where COVID-19 has disappeared. You are putting yourself at risk if you decide to go out, and you have no idea who it could be with, because they may not have any symptoms, and they may not have any symptoms ever. And they're finding out that the people between 46 and 60 is really coming along as far as fatalities. Now, this hasn't been very good news, other than I want to tell you to protect yourself. But I have one other thing I want to chat with you about before we start our show today. And believe me, the show is going to be very positive, but I want you to think about this. It's about time, if you have a SEP IRA, and those of you who are self-employed have a SEP IRA, or if you have a 401k, check your statements, because when the market does what it has been doing, and you saw this happen in 2008, 2009, all the money disappears out of your account. So if you're thinking about retiring and you're in your 60s, you may not have any money left. My girlfriend yesterday called me and said that her sister had lost $100,000. So check on your money. This is why I say all the time, don't put your money in a 401k and look the other way. If you've been in a 401k or a SEP IRA, you are going to notice a tremendous difference in your account. And I'm really sorry to say that. Now let's look at what's positive. First of all, I want you to make a list of what's good. What's good in your life? Is it that you're able to spend time with your family and you never could spend time before because you were too busy? Is it that you don't have to sit in the traffic to go to a networking event or go to work? What is it that's good for you right now? Actually, today for me, the sun is shining, it's beautiful outside, and I can't wait to get out on the beach. So that's good for me today. And it's good that I have my dog Ginger, who can walk with me and help me be supportive, because I'm all alone. So she is a wonderful, wonderful animal to have with me, because she is uplifting, she's excited, she has no idea any of this is going on. So as long as she has food and water and she can lay in the sunshine in the morning, she's perfectly happy. She lives a simple life. And now we're having to live a simple life too. So what I'd love for you to do is make sure that you make a list every day in your journal of what's good, what's happening that's positive in your life. And then make an effort to stay grounded. Just stay grounded and be who you are. Reach out to at least 5 people a day to talk to them about something positive. Don't get all wrapped up in the news and what's going on. I hope that I gave you some good points to watch out for you. Watch out for your family, watch out for your friends, and don't forget that it's still out there. So now I want to talk to you about our guest today. She is a longtime friend of mine. I absolutely adore her, and she's all about how to network so that you can build relationships for more income. We're going to talk to you about that, and we're going to talk to you about the importance of follow-up. And oh my gosh, she really made an impact on me when we talked, because I had all these cards on my desk. They just drove me nuts. And as a result, my desk always looked like a mess. And it always reminded me of all those people I never followed up with. And when I went through this with her, I looked at these cards, and some of them were from a year ago. And when I reached out, those people weren't even in business anymore. What does that tell you? So get the most out of today that you can. Learn how to network effectively, and let's talk about follow-up. So let's welcome Debbie Hoffman. I'm so excited that she's here with me. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the Heart-Based Business Show. I am grateful that you're here and that you've had the time to come and visit with us. Talk to us a little bit. I know you have a new networking group, and I'm really excited about that. So tell us about that.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here. Yes, so it's so interesting. A few months ago, I got this download that I should start an online networking event. I thought, what a great idea, bring people together from all over the world. This was way before anything had started with the pandemic. And I had other priorities, so I put it on hold. And then when this all happened, it's like, okay, I call it, the cosmic boot. It's like time to do it, right? And so we've done a couple so far, and it's been amazing. I'm recreating as much as possible the live networking experience, so people are able to network. Just like when you show up in an event and there's a room full of people, you walk up to somebody or they walk up to you and you have a conversation. So I'm recreating that in breakout rooms on Zoom. So just people are pairing off one-on-one. And then it's not a normal networking event in the respect that I'm giving tips throughout the entire networking event on how to network more effectively and how to share what you do more powerfully. So you get people to lean in. So people are loving the combination of kind of like a mini workshop and a networking event experience. So it's been a blast, and people are getting together in groups of 5 and sharing more about what they do and who a good referral would be for them. So it's been super fun, and I'm getting incredible feedback. People are loving it. So I'm just grateful that I had this idea and that it's serving so many people right now, and it's free. So
perfect. That's what I was waiting to hear. Have you noticed how much free stuff there is on the internet right now? I'm just getting barraged with stuff.
I know.
And join this group, join that group, come to this, watch that. I couldn't believe it. My emails have gone from 200 a day to 700 a day. And if I don't stay on top of it, it becomes a nightmare. And these aren't people that I know, and I'm a heavy hitter on LinkedIn. So a lot of people keep reaching out to me to take their events on LinkedIn. And that's a big part of why.
Yeah.
So Debbie, tell us a little bit about this follow-up thing. I addressed it in the beginning. Follow-up, I think, is one of the hardest things to do, because you're excited about meeting the person that day, and then you get the card and you think, what do I do now? What's my next step? So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I was laughing as you were sharing earlier about how when we first met and you had these cards all over your desk and didn't know what to do with them. It's like, that's a pandemic. Like, everybody out there tells me this. And so when you network and you meet someone, like, people tell me they love meeting people. They're so friendly and outgoing, and like, that's the most fun part for them. And then when they get back to their home or office, they have no idea what to do. And so step number 1, Charlene, is having technology in place to keep track of all of these contacts, all these people you're meeting. And it's called a CRM, a customer relationship management system. And so the CRM is the place where you put people's info, their notes, you tag them on where you met them and what they're interested in. So it helps you keep going and not stop following up and have these people slip through the cracks. So people are telling me, my clients are saying that when they're using the CRM, they're staying in touch with people longer, more consistently. And guess what? They're building deeper relationships and trust, and they're getting more clients, and they're really connecting with more JV or power partners. They're creating these collaboration partnerships where people are referring folks and helping each other, right? So it's just a step-by-step process. And the key thing too is knowing what to say and do. So the CRM is one thing, and then knowing what to say and do at every step. So people always ask me, so I can share a tip right now. People always ask me, what's the best way to follow up with folks? And most people are emailing. And I don't know, you just mentioned 700 emails, right? So, right? We're not seeing all these emails. They're getting lost. And I'm an old-fashioned girl, and I totally recommend you call people first. And then what I'm finding, I used to email as the backup, the second step, but now I'm texting, and I'm having people respond within a day to the text. So now it's like phone, text, and then email, because if it's late at night and they can't call you or text you back, they will send you an email and respond. And you want to see what method they're responding to, and that's usually their preferred way to communicate. So it gives you some great information. So those are some ideas of how to organize it all.
You know what's interesting is I've spent so many years building my list, and I know you have been too. And now I can't even use it because it doesn't go anywhere. And even for this show and my other show, Ask the Expert, which I do Friday mornings, I send them a text, I tell them the email's coming, and they never get the email. It's crazy. And I'm just wondering how many emails are falling through the cracks in and amongst my 700 that I'm already. It's just,
that's like calling.
That's the only way now.
Calling is the way to go, and texting. And the other thing I want to share too is people feel so overwhelmed with this task of entering all these hundreds of cards that have piled up over the years. And I don't recommend you do that. That is not an income producing activity. Just enter one person, prioritize the people who you've met, who you had the best connection with, that leaned in, that wanted to know more about how you can help them. And then also prioritize those people who you think would be great JV or power partners for you. And call one person at a time, enter their info, set a reminder for the next step so you don't forget, and then the next person. So it's like eating an elephant one bite at a time, right? You don't want to do this whole thing and take hours to do it. That is not a good use of your time.
Now, what do you do with people that, and I get a lot of this, where I suggest that we connect and they just go, oh, I'm too busy. I can't, I'm thinking, boy, that's interesting. You're too busy. What the heck are you doing? But they still say that. And they'll say, oh, I'm doing such and so. And then I tell them, get back to me when you're done with your such and so. And I leave it to them and move on. Is that the wrong way to do things, or is that a good way to do things?
Great question. So it all goes back to how you set it up. So if the reason for getting together was to learn more about each other's businesses and see if and how you can support each other, and they're not leaning in, then they're probably not the right fit.
Okay,
if they
so I'm doing it right.
But ask them, would you like to do that? So I'm so big on asking for permission, Charlene, at every step of the process, just to find out. So you can say, would you like to connect after you're done with that thing? And if they say, yes, I would love to connect, because this happens to me too. I meet people, I really want to get to know them. I really want to connect. And I say to them, listen, I have a deadline right now. I'm in the middle of a project or whatever. I do want to meet with you. So I'm very clear. Can you follow back up with me next month? Or we can get on the calendar. I can get on your calendar for next month, but I can't do it right now. So if you're not clear, just ask questions, get curious. And then if they say, yes, I do want to get together, say, great, when would be a good time? When you're going to be done with whatever that thing is, and then I'll reach out and we'll get on the calendar. Does that sound good to you? Again, asking for permission.
Wonderful.
But if they're like putting you off even after that, then they're not the right fit for you. Because, and again, it's about, if you said, hey, I want you to learn more about what I do, then of course they're not going to, and I know you don't do this, but for the people who are listening, if you're trying to sell them, get them to become a client, they're going to be repelled by it. So make it about collaboration and see how you can support them and help them. And if they're interested in what you're offering, they'll lean in. And that's like a side benefit, right? It's just you're getting together to see how you can support each other.
Right.
It takes all the pressure off.
So do you have a success story you can share with us?
Oh, yes, gosh. So I have a client, Gwen, who's an interior designer and a professional organizer. And when we met, she had a successful business, but she had kind of stalled out and was looking to grow. She hated networking because she felt so much pressure to go and sell and get clients. And she also hated how everybody was so pushy and salesy with her. So she stopped going. So the first thing we worked on is a mindset shift around follow-up, to like show up in service, just like we were just talking about. See how you can help people. Don't go to sell and find clients. Go to see how you can collaborate with people. So that's step one. We also worked on what she was going to say when she was in front of the room. It was like a BNI type event. We had 30 seconds to share what you do. So we worked on creating a very compelling 30-second infomercial. And people came up to her afterwards and said, "We have never heard such a compelling infomercial. We're so intrigued with what you do. We want to get together and learn more." And she got together with these people. Within 6 weeks of working together, she brought in $20,000 and 8 clients. And now 80% of her income comes from networking. And she says to me, she's like dating networking events, trying to find like the perfect fit. This was before the lockdown, of course. Now she's looking online. But what a great story. And then the other part of it is that I always help people create what I call a chicken list, which are those people that you've been hesitating or afraid to call. So she made this list, and what showed up was this woman who was referred to her, who ran an assisted living facility. And that to me is a crime. If you don't call someone who's been referred to you, like that's just not good. So she called this person. The woman said, "I'd love to meet with you, bring some marketing materials." And she didn't have anything. So we worked on putting together a flyer that she could bring. And we used all of the language of her clients, what they said about their situation, their struggles, and the results they had working with her. This woman was so impressed with what she shared. And she said, "How do you know what my clients are, what our residents are feeling?" And she gave her the gig, and she brought in $50,000 of income from this one client, because now she's the referral source for all the people who move into their assisted living facility. So it was pretty amazing. And her confidence has gone through the roof.
Beautiful story. Beautiful. Well, Debbie, I want to ask you, our time goes so fast in the morning. It's just unbelievable. I told you it's just going to zip by. Talk to us about what it is that you could support people with, our audience with.
Well, right now, people are feeling very isolated and they want to connect with folks. And so we mentioned earlier, I've created this online, virtual networking event on Zoom that we're doing twice a month on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. And I just invite you to come, show up. It's free. Meet people, connect with them afterwards, follow up with them, the people who leaned in, who are interested in learning more about what you do or interested in collaborating with you. It's a great way just to stay in community. Right now, we need community more than ever. Mm-hmm. And like you said earlier, we don't want to be sucked into the fear and the panic and the worry. We want to focus on what we want to create. And people are investing. I've signed up 3 clients in the last month. So this story that people don't have money is not true, right? This is the time for people to be investing in themselves because they have more time to do it. And then when this gets lifted and people can start going out again, whenever that will be, they're going to have all these new skills and tools to help them to be more successful in their life and their business. So this is the time to be networking, meeting as many people as you can, and just having a blast. People were there from India and England, and they shared how grateful they were to be able to connect with each other. So,
I know, that's the benefit. We can, on this kind of platform, we can connect with people all over the world. Yeah. And that's how networking is so prevalent when you do that, because then you have not just your small little playground that you work within, maybe 2 or 3 networking groups, you have the world at your fingertips.
Right.
So Debbie, thanks so much for being with me. I'm so grateful that you were here today, and I'll see you at your networking group. Okay.
You want me to share the link, or are you going to just post it?
I already put it up there for you.
Fabulous. All right. Wonderful.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
See you soon. So everybody, thank you again for joining us today. And I wanted to let you know that next week on Wednesday morning, I'm going to be talking to Jennifer Darling, and she has been offering this phenomenal LinkedIn class, and I went through it for free, and maybe I can get her to do that for you too. So that will be next Wednesday at 9:30, just like it was this morning. And as I said, it goes so fast. And if you'll go to Power Up Your Follow-Up, you will be able to sign up for the networking group, and I hope to see you there. And then let me tell you also, we are doing a free business mastermind for speakers and authors at the Speakers and Authors Visibility Playground, the Facebook group. And I'm hoping that you will come and become a part of that, because it's a lot of fun to network together and offer advice to others, because there's so many different businesses in this group, and they're all really heavy hitters and big players. And we focus, of course, on being an author and a speaker. And most of our audience is just that. So I'm really, really hoping you will join us. Now, don't forget, please, what I said about staying grounded. Do your breathing. And if you can, give yourself a few minutes of meditation time. I spend at least an hour in the morning working on my meditation and my behavior and my attitude toward my business and my life. And it makes a huge difference in how you manifest what you want into your life. So stay grounded. Try to do that first thing if you possibly can. And then watch for us next Wednesday at 9:30 with Jennifer Darling. See you then. Bye-bye.